Welcome everyone, I'm Jussi. I'll be your tour guide today for this super quick tour on k0s. So k0s is a kube distro and a CNCF Sandbox project. So we've basically distilled or tried to distill Kubernetes into the kind of simplest form that we could figure out, a single binary, statically compiled, runs basically anywhere. So you can take the same exact binary, run it on Red Hat, run it on Ubuntu, run it on Alpine, whatever has a decently modern enough kernel, and it just works. It gets you a Linux node, Kubernetes node. It comes with all batteries included, the usual things like containerd as the runtime, couple of options for CNI, sets up kube proxies, everything. You just run the single binary. Of course, you have the option to swap out certain things like provide your own container runtime, install Cilium as a CNI if you want, or some other CNIs and whatnot. So you really get a single binary to run in all of your different use cases, whether it's on premise, whether it's on cloud, whether it's on edge devices, it just works. One of the architectural kind of choices we made basically on day one, we wanted to really separate the control plane from the worker plane. So by default, when you run k0s as a controller mode, you actually get only the controller. You don't get kubelet running on the node, you don't get containerd running on the node or anything like that. So you can't really run any workloads on the controller nodes, even if you want to. It's actually not only about whether you want to run workloads on a controller node or not, but this pattern really enables quite cool use cases, for example, for edge computing. Because what I can do now is I can actually run my control plane in, say, public cloud, for example, and I can run the workers on edge devices somewhere far in the network edge. And I don't have to worry about, okay, how do I control the nodes because I can't access the controllers on there. Like I mentioned, all the use cases launched with the one single binary. So we started as an open source project in 2020. That's when the first open source release was done. Since then, we've seen very steady usage and community growth. And then we joined in the CNCF Sandbox on February 25. So we're a young project from that point of view. And we already have plans in motion to get into incubation state. Hopefully very soon, but no promises. One of the things we've seen, especially since we joined the Sandbox, was that we're seeing steady growth also in contributors, which is super good. And just as an example, our last minor release, 134, had 16 different contributors. So that's super nice. A couple of things I wanted to highlight from the 134 release. You can actually do the same with Windows now. So we actually have a exe file, k0s.exe file that you can download from GitHub, run it on your Windows server, and voila. You actually have a Windows worker node. The exact same pattern. That's pretty cool. We also support IPv6 only clusters. So for those who don't want to fiddle with legacy IPv4 anymore, we got you covered. Works with both Calico and kuberouter, which are the built-in CNIs, and will probably work for any other CNI. I think they all support IPv6 nowadays. And then, of course, as usual, there's a ton of smaller fixes and enhancements, like in every single release. So my call to action is join the community. Together we are stronger. We always welcome new contributors and contributions. Especially we are super interested to hear your stories as adopters and users. We also have a community booth at the project pavilion starting from tomorrow. So hop by and see some demos, meet the folks behind the project, and we'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks.